Good evening, professor and classmates. My name is Marco Gonzalez, and today I will be talking about language communities. Have you ever noticed how you talk differently to different people? From your mom and your dad to your brothers and your sisters, or from your coworkers to your boss? We vary our tone and our lexicon, and maybe even our language, depending on the situation. Therefore, today I will talk about different language communities. Also, I'll provide some examples of instances where I changed dialects and registers. I chose to do language communities over discourse communities because at the moment I don't feel like I am part of a discourse community. On the other hand, I've always been part of not one but two language communities. A language community is a group of people that uses similar norms or terms for communication, and although some minor variations might exist within the community, they don't affect the communication. These communities use similar slang and slurs that are very unique to that community. If there are any major differences between two languages, then they're considered different language communities. The two language communities I'm part of are English and Spanish. I was born into Spanish, so I know it pretty well. On the contrary, I began to learn English when I was back in Mexico, but I perfected it when I came here. Like I told you guys, when I came here to Miami, I spoke a little bit of English, but not so well. I had a strong accent, and from time to time, there was always somebody that thought it was funny to make fun of the kid with accent. One thing that helped me a lot was that I came here when I was very young. And kids are like sponges. They absorb information really quickly. I also was fortunate enough to find a group of people that supported me and pushed me to get rid of the accent. I believe I still have a little bit of accent, but sometimes people tell me I don't. So I'm not sure anymore. You tell me. Now, moving on to examples. Everywhere I go, I'm ready to change dialects and registers, especially here in Miami. And my house is not the exception. The conversation with my brothers is really something else. It's like I'm a completely different person. Usually I talk to my brothers in Spanish, with a lot of slang and a lot of slurs. And we sometimes even lose the respect for each other. Usually I talk to my brothers in Spanish, with lots of slang and lots of slur. And sometimes we even lose the respect for each other. We curse a lot, but we do so with love. Here you can see how I abbreviate things and my brother misspells words on purpose to make sure we know we're joking. But when I talk to my parents or my sisters, my register changes. I am very respectful and I don't use any slang or slurs. Another instance where I change dialects and registers a lot is at my work. My job is to pick up the phone calls that the restaurant receives and placing the orders. I pick up the phone call and talk to customers. I alternate dialects depending on the customer's preference between Spanish or English. I also change my tone and my register by making them more formal. The same is true for my boss and my coworkers that are significantly older than me. Sometimes my coworkers use words to name things that I'm not used to. Most of the time that I'm at work, we don't get any phone calls. And I spend the time with my friend, and my dialect changes, and we use slang and slurs. The last place I will take you is to FIU, where I interact with countless people, and if it's people that I see on the regular basis, I'm comfortable using slang, and if I'm speaking Spanish, then I'm even more comfortable. If it's people that I just met, I'm a little formal and very respectful to them, so I use little slang and I try to be as clear as possible. If I'm talking to a professor, then it's almost the same thing, but I don't use any slang and my wording becomes a little more proper. In conclusion, from the moment we start to talk, we become part of a language community. In other words, even if we don't want to, we are all part of a language community. In some cases, when we get older, we join another one, or like in my case, it was not a want to, but have to case. Whichever it is, being part of a language community is super useful to you and it can open many opportunities. Spanish is the better language.